It's a massive offseason we've got coming up for the Green Bay Packers. And the good thing for you guys is right here on the Packers Report, we'll be bringing the heat all offseason long. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to join us right here on the channel. We got breaking news coverage, offseason rumors, trade targets, free agent targets, all that good stuff. So make sure you join us today for all season long by hitting that sub button. All right, on today's show, we're going to be going over my perfect offseason plan for the Green Bay Packers. If I was Brian Gutekunst, what would I do as a general manager? First, starting off, we got a 5-step plan for you. Number one, I would trade Jaire Alexander, okay, for multiple reasons. Number one, he's had a very injury-plagued career, especially as of recent, right? If you look back over the last 4 seasons, he only played 4 games in 2021, played a full season in 2022, was unreal. And then in 2023, 2024, he played 7 games each, all kind of with different injuries, shoulders, knees, another shoulder, right? And the thing is if you look at the financials of the whole situation, he's got a base salary of $16.15 million. He's got a cap hit of $25.48 million. And if you go even deeper into the financials of it, if he is traded before June 1st, it'll be a dead cap hit of $18 million for the Green Bay Packers, and then they'll save about $6.8 million in cap savings. However, if he's traded after June 1st, they'll save about $17 million in cap savings. So this, to me, my first thing I would do is make this a post-June 1st trade. And not just the financials, not just the money, not just the injuries, but you're getting at the point with Jaire Alexander where it just feels like he doesn't want to be here. And if you don't want to be here on this football team, then frankly, I don't want you here on this football team. Kelly Hallanan, there we go, Kelly, I got you, said when Jaire Alexander was asked to speak with the media at locker room cleanout, he declined, saying he doesn't even know if he is going to be here next year. Said he didn't have anything good to say, so definitely wasn't going to talk. Okay, so everything, the money, the injuries, the attitude, all that together, in my opinion, it's just better if he's not on this football team come 2025. I know he's an elite talent, and that's why I think you could get something via trade for him. What would you do, though? You tell me in the comment section down below. Would you trade him? Would you keep him? Let me know by typing T for trade, K for keep right now. Step number 2 in this offseason plan, I think you sign Josh Myers, okay? He is, via The Athletic, the number 1 most important free agent for the Green Bay Packers, okay? And I know what you're saying, right? You might be thinking, it seems like a little bit of a stretch. Don't look at the PFF numbers. In my opinion, the PFF numbers on Myers, they lie a little bit. But it's just more about what he does for this team, what he means to his teammates, and what he means to this organization. We had Brian G talk about it just a little bit ago, a little bit more on Josh Myers. Here's what he had to say. He said, I thought he had his best year. I thought he dealt with some things during that year that were tough, and I thought he fought through it like a champion, and certainly an asset to our football team. I know Jordan Love trusts him very much as his center. He's an unrestricted free agent, so we'll see where all that goes. I can't say enough good things about Josh Myers, not only as a player, but as a leader. He really does embody kind of a Green Bay Packer and what we're looking for and how they're wired. So why sign Josh Myers? I got 3 reasons for you. Number 1, consistency, okay? When you have a quarterback, when you have a young quarterback at that, having a consistent center, right? Having that centerpiece of this offense literally stay the same throughout your career is a massive, massive thing, okay? So keeping consistency for Jordan Love. Number 2, he was the 2024 Ed Block Courage Award, which is an award voted on by teammates for guys who excel on the team, as teammates, and in the community, okay? It's obvious this team loves him. So you got to keep him around for that. He's a leader. Number 3, he's cheap-ish, right? Not too expensive. His projected contract is 3 years, $9 million. That would be about a $2 million increase from what he's making on his rookie deal. But still, I think for the consistency for Jordan Love, for what he means to this team, I think that's a no-brainer to sign Josh Myers. Number 3, I think you got to sign a cornerback in free agency. And there's a lot of options to choose from. But in my opinion, I think DJ Reed is the best of all those options, no questions asked, okay? Over the last 6 seasons, he's posted 6 straight 70-plus coverage grade seasons on Pro Football Focus, okay? He only has missed 8 games in the last 4 seasons. It feels like Jaire Alexander has played 8 games in the last 4 seasons. And also this past year, he forced a tight window percentage of 35.3%, third highest in the NFL, basically saying that 35.3% of the time he was targeted, there was not a lot of separation between him and the wide receiver that he was covering. And what I love most is for the asset that you're getting. Okay, I get it, he's a little bit older, but for the production that he's got in his career, I believe he's relatively cheap. 3 years, $14 million a year. With how much cap space you have, we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but I think that's well worth it, and I think that's a great kind of bargain deal for a really, really good cornerback. And honestly, from DJ Reed's standpoint of everything, I just think he wants a stable organization, okay? He's been in New York. He's dealt with the Aaron Rodgers saga for the past few years, and I think he's tired of that, right? New York does so many things wrong. We're in this organization, okay? I know every organization has their complaints, but for the most part, it feels like they do a lot of things right. I think DJ Reed would be a great asset to this football team in 2025. Would you sign DJ Reed, though? Let me know in the comment section down below by typing S for sign, type P for pass. You let me know right now in the comment section what you would do, okay? I would sign him, but also want to hear from you guys, okay? Number 3 on my list is to sign an edge rusher in free agency. And it's pretty obvious that, in my opinion, this is kind of the biggest deal for this defense, okay? I honestly think signing an edge rusher is probably even more important than signing a cornerback. Now, it all depends on how the Jaire Alexander situation pans out over the next couple months, but when you look at the edge rushers for this team and how they did this past year, it was a bunch of good, a bunch of fine. Rashawn Gary was the only guy on this team with over 40 pressures. He was the sack leader with 7.5. None of them got over 10 tackles for loss. And so that's why when you look at the free agent market, I think that there's one name that stands out above all the rest, in my opinion, and I think that's a guy by the name of Josh Sweat, okay? He's done fantastic things with Philadelphia this season, and in my opinion, from all the edge rushers that are available, he is easily the youngest out of all of them, okay? And he's had a fantastic year in 2024. Okay, he's played in 16 games. He has 41 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 8 sacks on the year, right? He would lead this team in sacks. He'd be tied for the lead in tackles for loss. And that's doing it on a defensive line with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, right? I think Jalen Carter might be the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. He's got 15 quarterback hits, 2 pass breakups, but it wasn't just this year, right? If you look back in his career over the span of the last 3 seasons as well, he's been dominant. 6.5 sacks, 11 sacks, 7.5 sacks, right? Look at that 2022 year. 15 tackles for loss, 23 quarterbacks hits. He's a guy that has excelled on teams that have other really good pass rushers. I think he could come in this year with Green Bay and be the number 1 pass rushing guy on this team. And I think you could afford him as well, because let's go back to how much cap space you have. You have 43.98. You're almost sitting at $44 million in cap space. And for how good of a talent Josh Sweat is and still how young he is, I think, in my opinion, for what a good edge rusher costs, he's relatively cheap as well, okay? 3 years, $18 million a year. That's his projected contract. Again, all of these projections are coming from Pro Football Focus, but I think for a guy of that caliber at that price, that is well worth it. And number 5, the last one on this list, in my opinion, is to draft a wide receiver. I am pretty high on this wide receiver class. I think they got a lot of really good talent. Okay, if you look at Mel Kiper's rankings of wide receivers in this upcoming draft, he's got Travis Hunter at number 1. Then you look at Teteroa McMillan, Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen Royals. I think he could be a stud. And Savion Williams, Isaiah Bond, Alec Ayamaner, Matthew Golden, Jalen Noel. A lot of really good names, and in my opinion, a lot of really good talents. But if you want to get spicy and trade up from that number 23 spot into around that 14, 15 range, I think you get Luther Burden and do that. But if this team doesn't want to do that, and in my opinion, it's doubtful that they do and they want to stay where they are, then I think you go wide receiver in the second, third round. In my opinion, I think Luther Burden's going to be a really good talent in this league. But if you don't get him, if you don't move up to get him, I think you can get Restrepo in the third round. And I think that pick would be absolutely money. Now, it's interesting to see because he's a little bit of a smaller wide receiver. And with Christian dealing with that ACL tear. We don't know his status for the 2025 NFL season. It's very doubtful he'll be there for the entirety of it. So I wonder if they want to go for a bigger wide receiver like a Jalen Royals, maybe a Savion Williams. But if you're not, and you're just looking for a guy you can sit in the slot, kind of with Reed and can just be a dynamic talent, I think Xavier Restrepo would be of great value in that third round. You name in the comment section down below a player you want the Packers to draft. Let me know. Whoever it is, it could be Luther Burden. Hell, you could say, let's go up and let's freaking get Travis Hunter. Let me know right now. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. It's been an awesome week. Last week on the Packers Report. So excited for the week that we've got ahead of us. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you haven't already, hit that sub button to never miss a moment on your favorite team in green and gold.